Good morning, everybody. It's Chris from Serene Education with the 4 majors announced update for the 3rd of September 2013. Morning, guys. Just going to be looking at the 4 majors this morning, starting with Euro against US dollar. Let's have a look and see what the charts have been doing. Okay, so the indicator box at the bottom here, primarily red intraday, and the R squared is complementing that negative sentiment. So we have genuine negative movement to the downside for the euro, and quite clearly we have a current resistance level above us. Around the 13,400 mark, and subsequently what happened was we had a tweezer top, and then price moved, reattempted the current highs, and then failed. We had this bearish engulfing candle, then engulfed the 4 current days after that tweezer top, and subsequently we've seen negativity. Price is trading lower this morning and heading into the weekly as well as the institutional moving average, roughly around the 38.2, which is the 13,1485 mark. So price very tentative as it moves lower, however still negative, and you can see the RMO is now flat, but the MACD is very much negative to the downside. And you can see as we head into this consolidation area here, as we head into this resistance area, you can see the MACD had fallen off quite strongly, and the RMO has done exactly the same. So we've got to be well aware that the institution moving average is below price, and where price is trading right now to this level, there's only roughly around about 24 pips and change. So look to see if there's any fundamental news out there that could actually reflect on price today. We have the all-important Spanish unemployment change figures at 8 AM GMT, which isn't that far from now. They're expecting a far better figure than the previous figure of negative 61.9 thousand. They're expecting a forecast of negative 5.2 thousand. So that's, if anything comes out better than that, say a negative 5.1 or 5 or 4.8 or something like that, then you're definitely going to see the euro gain a bit of strength this morning on that outcome. So we have to be very, very aware of that. The outcome, if we do see Spanish figures coming out even worse than that, then we could see price really tackling this institution as well as this weekly fib line here. We're also price is trading that 38.2 on the daily. I've taken the current low to the current high, and you can see that the 38.2 is also in play as we speak. So at this moment in time, look to see if we can see a break and close lower than the institution to see any further negative sentiment to the downside for the remainder of this week. However, we've got to be aware, if we do see any positive figures for the remainder of this week, we could see a consolidation, and if we do get a consolidation, we could see a bounce. And if we do get that, we could see price reattempting 23.6 as well as back towards its prior high for the remainder of this week. So be tentative when trading. The intraday sentiment is one of negativity. Look to see, we are trading quite close to this resistance level here, support and resistance level here. So you've got to be very, very, you've got to factor that into your analysis. We don't want to put too much risk in our favor. So wait and see what the outcome is and see if we can actually catch a further break to the downside and then a continuation, or a bounce and then catch the movement to the upside. Sterling against the US dollar. Yeah, you can see we've been in pretty much an uptrend recently, and in doing so, sterling has broken above the institution moving average. This is the second time we've been above the institution moving average this year. However, on the previous occasion that we had tested or broke above the institution, we failed to get that continuation after the bounce, after the breakout, the pullback, and then we failed to get that continuation. Here we saw the opposite happening. I saw the breakout, the pullback, and then the continuation higher, but the continuation only went into prior highs, the breakout highs, and subsequently it fell. Then we had this bearish engulfing candle here that engulfed 4 days of prior analysis, and then we wanted to see price actually spending time above the 50% of the weekly. That failed to materialize, so we had the breakout, the pullback, and then the continuation down to price support and resistance levels, which happened to be the weekly fib at the 38.2 as well as the institution moving average. It's still above the institution moving average, so it's still positive. However, you can see the last arrow we had was a red one, and the candles were red for a moment, but still above the major support area in the shape of the 38.2 on the weekly as well as the institution, and then the candles are gone blue again. So we have a lot of indecision here, but the decisiveness is still very much up. Swing high, swing high. We've had a swing just recently. This is all taking place above the institution moving average, which is positive. RMO is just above the zero line. The only thing MACD is below, and the reason why MACD is below is primarily because we've had this pullback. The intraday sentiment, one of negativity. However, the hour, 4 hour, daily, and weekly is looking slightly better than the overall sentiment, primarily because we've still been in this upside pattern. So we are seeing positiveness intraday. We have to be aware that Yesterday in particular, price reattempted the 50% retracement on the weekly, however failed to actually close above it. Sentiment was still pretty much 50% of that candle. If we are to see any further movement, we would need to see price trading above the 50% retracement in order to look to those prior highs we were just recently, these ones up here at the 1164 mark. So look at this, what news we might have out for sterling this morning. We have construction PMI results expected at 9:38 GMT this morning, and they're expecting a far better figure. The previous figure was 57.0, they're expecting a 58.4. So if construction figures come out even better than that, then we could expect sterling to rally against the US dollar this morning. Just going to be well aware of the current resistance level here. So look for the outcome for sterling this morning at 9:30 GMT. See where that takes us. If we do get negative figures, we could see price being pushed back down towards a reattempt of the 38.2 here on the weekly, roughly around the 15.4120 mark. If we do get some positive figures, could see a break above the 50%, which would then look to see if we can see some further buying pressure to the upside during the US market, and we could see price reattempting the current highs here at 15.6962 near term. Onto US dollar Swiss franc. Like it, the euro against US dollar, you can see quite clearly we have a lot of bullish sentiment. On the euro US dollar, we have a lot of negative sentiment. Now we have a lot of bullish sentiment. So they are complementing each other, and you can see we have a clear support level here, and price is actually built on that. RMO has just peaked above the zero line. MACD is currently above and has been over the last couple of weeks. As price sentiment started to build here, the positive sentiment was starting to build here as support as we failed to break below this. Tweezer bottom yet again, bullish engulfing candles confirm that, and sure enough we had the move to the upside. And subsequently you can see we're price trading right now at the institution moving average. We're seeing the same thing on the euro against US dollar, testing that institution moving average, or not being too far away from it. Here we have the US dollar Swiss franc testing the institution moving average, which happened to be a price support and resistance level high. So positive sentiment intraday, really reflecting that. We want to see a break and close higher than that. Look to see if the US dollar, we have GDP quarter-on-quarter figures for the Swiss franc this morning, which came out way better than the actual forecast. Not as high as the previous figure, but still far greater than the forecast, which was still good. So we could see a bit of a pullback this morning on the US dollar. However, we do have news out of the US market this afternoon in the shape of the manufacturing PMI results, and they're expecting a slightly less figure than the prior one. So if that is the case, then we could see a resistance level here being formed, and we could see price pulling back. It'll be interesting to see how this the European session goes. At the moment now we're seeing a lot of buying sentiment, so just be wary of this price support and resistance level high here. If we go to our 4 hour, we should get a buy signal, and there you do. You can see on the last 4 hours we've seen a lot of attempts to the upside. You can see prior here in August, early August of this year, we had a lot of attempts at this area here, in particular this particular candle here, really moving into the institution moving average, however failing and pulling back and forming the shooting star resistance, and sure enough we had a major sell-off. Here, totally different. We're trading above the institution, and we're seeing a lot of buying sentiment. So got to wait for this 4 hour candle to close. Once we do get the close, and if it's above this area, this resistance area here, as well as the daily fib here at the 38.2 at 93.82, then we should be looking for positive sentiment for the remainder of today, up towards a 50% line at 94.61 and change. So look to see what the outcome is on the next 4 hour candle to decipher if we should be looking long or short for the remainder of today. Last pair, the US dollar Japanese yen. We've seen a very bull candle yesterday. I mentioned we had to be well aware that we had to see a close above the 50% retracement on the daily. That would take us above this prior support and resistance level here, but also down this downtrend. You can see that we had swing lows, swing lows, swing lows, swing lows, and yesterday's candle has broken that. And so subsequently we've seen a bounce on the institution moving average over the past couple of weeks. RMO has gone positive, and the MACD has been positive as we've been in this consolidation. Notice the overall sentiment here on the indicator box is primarily one of positiveness. So we should be looking for buying sentiment. However, we are trading into the monthly fib retracement here in the shape of the 50% retracement, which also is the daily fib at the 61.8. So you've got to be well aware of that. We had prior support and resistance level. We've had a lot of consolidation in this area in the past, and we have to be well aware of that. Ideally, on this particular pair, if we are to see any further upside, would need to see a bullish close above this area here. So if you're looking for a buying opportunity on this particular pair, yes you are. However, you are trading into a resistance level, so you have to be We'd like to see a daily close above this area to see opportunities back up towards the current 186 mark, back up towards the 78.6 mark here at the 101.60 mark, before we see price tackling the all-time high that we've seen this year in the May highs at the 103.78. So we are trading into a resistance level at the moment. We should get a buy signal. There we go on our 4-hour. Complementing that, so the last arrow was a blue one. Candles are all blue. The intermediate trend is up. Swing highs, swing high, swing high, and RMO's above, MACD's above. The only thing that we don't have in our favor is the indecision on the last 4 hours, primarily because we are trading at a resistance level high on the intraday chart. So we would like to see the next 4-hour candle closing higher than this level here at 99.70. So make it 110. So got to get above this before we see the US dollar rallying any higher. We do have, as I mentioned, that manufacturing PMI result for the US market later this afternoon. Let's see how that actually plays out and if it actually helps with the actual candle sentiment for today. So that's it for today, guys. Short and sweet. Please, if you are using this template or any of the Serene Education templates, please back it up with some money management rules. Very important. Keep it as simple as possible. Look at your monthly and weekly resistance, support and resistance levels. Look to see for any potential breakouts, either upside or downside. Look to make sure that the fundamentals complement any fundamental news that you might have, and then just pull the trigger. You've got to keep it very, very mechanical, hence the reason why we have constructed this indicator box over here. It's very, very mechanical approach. If it's rule red and the R squared is blue, then it's telling you to sell. If it's all blue and the R squared is blue, then it's looking to buy. Okay, you've got to treat your trading very, very mechanical. Take the emotional tide of trading and you'll be a lot more successful. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you with that. Hope you have a fantastic trading day, and I'll catch you guys first thing tomorrow morning. Until then, you guys trade serenely.